Hi there, I'm Jeanette, stampingwithsafiandme.com, and today's project is a little Easter project. We are going to be making one of these little boxes. They're really cute. They measure 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Each of these are actually slightly different. This one's got the Petal Passion Sweet embossing folder on it. This blue one has just got stamping on the outside, so no embossing. And this yellow one, which is So Saffron, has got the wood effect embossing folder, which I really like. So that's what I'm going to be making today. Now inside, I've actually colour coordinated the little chocolates to go inside. They've got a couple of these inside, which are actually quite big eggs. I think if you got the smaller ones, you could probably fit a lot more in. But I like these ones, and I've got a couple of those ones in there. So yeah, a really lovely sweet little box, I think. We've got Emerald Envy, we've got Soft Sky, and we've got So Saffron as well. So that's what we're going to be making today. Let me just pop that to one side. Before we do though, don't forget about Celebration. It is only on until the 31st of March. And there are so many beautiful free items in here. Just don't miss out on that. I know I mentioned it last week and I went into detail about it last week, so I won't do today, but honestly don't miss out. So let me just pop that to one side and we will get started. Now the stamp set I'm using is A Good Day. I love this stamp set. It also comes with some coordinating punches, which I'm also going to be using today. The stamp I'm going to be using is Bring On The Sunshine, because in the UK for the past few weeks it has been freezing, so we really are willing the sun to come out, so that's the one I'm going to be using today. Okay, so let me just grab some cardstock. I'm going to do this one again in the Soft Sky, as I hadn't done any embossing on this one. Don't worry if you haven't got a big shot embossing folder, it still looks beautiful with the stamping on as well, so don't worry about it, it's not essential at all. So let me just grab my measurements and let me just grab my scoreboard. Okay, so the cardstock you need, it really doesn't take much cardstock at all. It measures 6.5 inches by 4.5 inches. And we're going to score it on the short side first of all. So you know what, another tip as well. I always use a little bit of dry soap on my stylus. I just find it glides over the cardstock when I'm actually scoring. It just glides down, but it's something I've always done, but I don't tend to show it on camera, so I thought I would do today. Anyway. And it also smells nice as well when you're scoring it. So anyway, let's get started. So we're scoring at 1.5, and we're scoring at 3 inches. And then we're going to score at 3 3/4 inch. And then we're going to score on the long side, again at 1.5, and again at 3 inches. And then we're going to score at 4.5. And then at 6 inches. And then we're also going to score at, but only to the first score line. Just see that there. I'll bring it a bit closer to me so I can see. So we're going to score at 2.25 inches, just to that first score line, and then we're going to score at 5.25 inch, just to that score line. Okay, let me just get rid of that. The next thing you need is a foam mat, and you need a ruler, because we are just going to pop a couple more score lines in, and all we want to do is just score from there to that, to the middle bit there that you scored earlier, and it's just so the box goes together really easily. So you just need some sort of soft mat underneath just to get that score line. Let me just score that a little bit better. There. And then you want to do the same with this one as well. me just put that to one side, you don't need that now. And then you want to burnish your score lines. Let's burnish that one that way. That one that way. This one wants to burnish the other way. And you need to burnish all of your score lines before we're doing any embossing. So we need to get it all done, and we are also going to do our cutting as well. Give them all a really good burnish. And then these bits here, we're just going to very softly just fold them up. They will go quite naturally, but you don't need to give those a burnish. Then we want to cut off this little bit here. I don't need that. And then slightly wedge in. And then we want to cut up the bottom bit up to the first score line at the bottom. Okay, get rid of all those. And then I need to grab my Wood Effect embossing folder. I love this embossing folder. I think it's really lovely, and quite by chance it fits perfectly. You will need to just fold that side bit in, and then I've lined mine up just, I didn't want the top bit to be embossed, so I just left it peeping out there. And as you can see, it fits absolutely perfectly. You can obviously use the top of your, the bottom of your embossing folder. You can line it up with your line so you know it's going to be straight. And then you just want to run that through your Big Shot. Now run it through that way so you've got the closed end going through your Big Shot first. So I'm just going to quickly run that through. Let me see if I can bring it. I know last time it was a disaster, but let me just bring this in and I'll show you. Because it's a thicker embossing folder, you don't need the plate on top. So just pop it in and you can see it just fits perfectly. Without ripping that paper, that's why I didn't bring it in last time. Anyway, put that to one side. I managed to do it without ripping it. Okay, and then that's what you're left with. So put that to one side. It does emboss that, but that's absolutely fine. Doesn't alter it, and it doesn't crack. Mine hasn't cracked. Anyway, so yeah, I was really pleased with that. So you want your tear tape. Oh, I do apologise if you can hear my chair squeaking. It needs a bit of an oil. Put some tear tape along there, or we can use Fast Fuse. As I mentioned last week about the Fast Fuse, it is retiring, and I do know that stocks are low, and once it's gone, it's gone. They're not going to be doing it anymore. So if you are a lover of Fast Fuse, then do get your order in before they sell out. I know it's sad. I've just got the hang of it, to be honest. So I was very disappointed, and I've already got an order in for a few to have in stock. Just as I said before in my past tutorials, just fold those bits in there. Now what I also do, if I can get this to work, I sometimes put a bit of glue on as well. I like to use tear tape and glue because the glue is actually stronger than the tear tape, but it takes longer to dry. So when I'm using both together, it's stuck and eventually it will stick. The Tombow will stick and it will become very strong indeed. So I tend to use both. It's whatever you prefer to use. Right, so my seam is there, so that's going to be the back of my box. So I'm just going to put the sides together so that can tuck in there, that side. That's I can tuck in there. I'm going to put a bit of glue on. Right, quite a bit on my flaps. And then I just double check. Where's my seam gone? It's there, so I want that to be the back. So this is going to have a bit of glue on. That's going to be the next bit to go down. A bit much on there. Come out at once. And then I end up with glue absolutely everywhere when I'm crafting. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, ink, glue everywhere, bits everywhere. And that's coming together really nicely. Get rid of some of that glue on my hands. And then you will find, because you obviously you scored your side bits earlier, if you just push this in like that, you will find it just really naturally just goes together like that with absolutely no effort whatsoever. And that really does look a gorgeous little box. I don't know whether you can see that, the wood effect on there. I think it's beautiful, really is nice. So before we seal it up, I'm going to put a couple of eggs in like that. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to punch a hole right in the middle. Just going to do it by eye. Close that up. And then how I've done this, I'm just using my 1/8 of an inch handheld punch. I use this all the time as well. Hasn't quite dried there at the bottom, but okay, I think. And then this top bit here of the punch, I basically put it until it doesn't go anymore. And that's how I've done that. And then I'm just going to do it by eye in the middle. That looks about in the middle. And then squeeze it quite tightly. It does go through. Absolutely fine, no problem at all. Now I'm going to use another of my favourite ribbons. Is this? It's the metallic edge ribbon. Yeah, metallic edge ribbon. This is really lovely. I'm going to use my stylus to push it through. Keep checking to see which is the front. That's the front. So I'm pushing it through from the back to the front. Just going to push the end through and pull that through. It does fray a little bit, but we can tidy that up. And then I'm going to tie a knot. You can tie a bow if you like. I'm just going to tie a knot. I prefer a knot to faffing around with bows half the time. But entirely up to you. Scissors. Let's just trim this down a little bit. So when you're happy with it, just cut it to the length that you want it. I don't want mine too long. It's only a little box, so you don't really use that much ribbon at all. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Right, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping now. So, a little bit of scrap of your Whisper White. Now, my box is actually Soft Sky, but I'm actually going to use Pool Party in this instance to stamp. When I was actually stamping earlier with the Soft Sky, it was just a little bit too pale. So I just wanted a slightly darker blue, and I actually found this look really nice. But it's just trial and error, really. You just have a, play, and it could be that my ink pad needs re-inking, to be honest. But I just wanted that shade darker. So, ink up. I'm checking my stamp just to make sure I haven't got too much ink around the edges. stamp. And then you're going to be using the coordinating, oh actually no you're not, you're going to be using the, let's grab them all in, you'll need 3 punches. And the one I'm going to use to punch this out, it coordinates with the 1 1/4 inch circle punch. So I'm just going to punch out using that. And then I'm going to grab a bit of Soft Sky, scrap the Soft Sky, and I'm going to punch the new scallop punches, which is the 1 3/8, and that coordinates with the 1 1/4 circle punch. And then what I'm also going to do, because I just wanted to pick out the silver in the ribbon, I'm just going to use the 1 3/8 of an inch circle punch, and I'm going to punch one of those as well, because I just get a hint of the silver underneath. I really, really like that. You can't see much of it, but just a hint of it, which is just what I wanted. What do I need now? Stamping dimensionals. Let me grab those. Have they gone? They're around here somewhere. Nearly run out of these. I need to get some more on order. These side bits are great to use though as well. Nothing goes to waste at all, which is what I like. And that will just layer on beautifully on there. You could colour some of that as well. It would probably look really nice. Put that on the back there. Layer it up again. And as you can see, I don't know whether you can see that, but you can just see just a hint of the silver in the background, which I just think is really pretty. Before I stick it onto the box, we've nearly finished. I'm just going to put a little Diamante. These are the old rhinestones that Stampin' Up have done. They've just repackaged them, and this is what they look like now, just to show you. But I've still got some of the old ones. So I am going to put one of the small ones on. And I know, just on the cloud, on the sun, doesn't really matter, wherever you fancy. And then just pop it on your box like that. I think I'll probably take these with me and give them to all the girls at my yard as a little bit of a treat. So anyway, a bit amazing. So plain or embossed, entirely up to you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that project. I've loved doing these. Really do love doing 3D items. So yeah, if you like this project, do like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I've got a really good project in mind for next week, so don't miss out. Thank you very much for joining me today. Bye bye.